Hi, this is John Okoro, and welcome to this week's Auspicious Agile video blog. This week we're going to continue our Agile leadership series, and we're going to look at Holocracy, Management 3.0, and Sociocracy. And we're going to be looking at some of these different methods that are used for Agile teams and Agile organizations to manage their organizations and to bring Agile practices to the management layer. Often we call this business agility as well. So we're going to take a look at this week. Of course, if you enjoy the Auspicious Agile video blogs, please do like, share, and subscribe. And you can also look down in the comments for different support options as well. So let's get into some of these Agile management and leadership methods. We're going to start with Management 3.0, which is by Jürgen Appello. He created this in 2010. And it's an Agile management method, really, just as it sounds. And it's a way of working with organizations that might have Agile teams. They'll be looking for new ways to work with management, with teams, and with people. And it's really about managing the system and not the people. So several of the different ways that Jürgen Appello characterizes management methods. Management 1.0 was doing the wrong thing. Management 2.0 he characterizes doing the right thing the wrong way. And Management 3.0 is basically the future of management, which is really all about doing the right thing for your team and benefiting your organization in that way and involving everyone and improving it. So these are the ways, and let's take a look at Management 3.0 now and see how Jürgen Appello uses this. So there's a couple case studies here I'll call out. One is Bosch Power Tools, and another one is Eventbrite. Now these are case studies are listed on the Management 3.0 website, so you can check those out if you want more details. It talks about different techniques that they use in the different companies to implement and use Management 3.0. Very similar to Agile, you have a lot of games and gamification. There are workshops that are used to kind of get all this set up, and then you use a lot of games and actionable activities in your organization. So what are some of the games? What are some of the actionable practices? Well, they have things called merit money, feedback wraps, different ways to give feedback. They have salary frameworks and formulas. They have moving motivators, delegation poker, celebration grid, and kudo cards, which is a way to thank people who've done a great job in the organization and done a great job or done something nice for you, and to make that public. So lots of different games and activities. Now, what are the challenges that you might run into if you're trying to implement Management 3.0? Well, one, of course, is your management. Management may not necessarily be bought into the idea of using these activities and kind of this game, these different games and these practices, and that might be a challenge, is whether you might be able to get people in the organization to actually do these things. Now, another one, of course, is time. It takes time to learn these practices. I can tell you this video is one of the longest ones for me to prepare, actually, learning a lot about the different practices, and it's going to take time to do the workshops and to understand how to use these well in your organization. So those are some challenges you might run into. Now, let's go on to Holacracy. Holacracy was created by Brian Robertson. He's a software engineer, and it was created in 2015. And he definitely does have kind of a software approach to the way he treats the organization, kind of an operating system. He says, harnessing the tremendous sensing power of the human consciousness available to your organization. And that's kind of the approach or the technique that Brian Robertson uses in his technique here. So how does it work? Well, basically, the organization is divided up into a number of circles, and each one of these circles has different responsibility and different roles for different things in the organization. So within your circle, within your role, you have the ability to make a broad number of decisions without having to ask for permission. You just go and make those decisions. Now, there are different roles, and you have what we call a lead link. And the lead link is kind of a leader for that circle or for that role. You may have played a part in different roles, and you have made different have lead. You might be a lead in one and another one a participant. But the idea here is that you can do what you need to do as long as it doesn't affect somebody else's area, somebody else's circle in the organization or some other role in the organization. And there's also what they call a Holacracy Constitution. Now, this Holacracy Constitution is set up to basically identify the ways that people are going to work, and the CEO actually cedes their authority to this Holacracy Constitution. So a good example of this is Zappos. Probably the best known example of a company that is using Holacracy. Now, they have run into some challenges. They definitely are using the Holacracy method. And the idea behind Holacracy, of course, is that there are different tensions that are going to be in the organization, and and as people sense them, we can surface them. We have techniques and approaches that are set up to be able to resolve those tensions. Now, there are some different challenges that you might run into with Holacracy. One, is your CEO really going to be willing to cede authority to a constitution? And second, it's not very human focused or emotion focused. It's really focused just on following these processes and procedures. And that may be a little tough for people. Some people at Holacracy or at Zappos actually describe that. In fact, when they first brought in Holacracy, about 14% of the staff left the organization. So there is a challenge with the emotion part and with looking at people and how people are going to engage in terms of this working. Now, actually, the predecessor of Holacracy was Sociocracy. Now, Sociocracy was something that was created by Endenburg way back in 1981. And you could actually consider Holacracy to be a full implementation of Sociocracy. So really looking at, a lot of the ideas that Endenburg had, you'll see those in Holacracy. But there are some differences here, and I'm going to point those out briefly. One being that Sociocracy is really more focused on the people, right? So we got our people here, and the idea of Endenburg is to enable everyone to develop as far and as a diversified manner as possible. So that's what Endenburg is looking for in Sociocracy. It's really about the people and developing them, not maybe even so much about the customer. Holacracy, on the other hand, is really all about the organization. It's really about making sure that you sense the tensions and the organization functions in a certain way. And it's really not necessarily thinking so much about the people. And there have, of course, been some complaints about that aspect of it. Now, another difference is that in Sociocracy, all the roles are elected, so you vote for everything, right? Very democratic way of doing things. On the other hand, in the Holacracy, you only vote for 3 of the roles, and there are a number of roles. Only the secretary, the rep link, and the facilitator are elected. Everybody else is not elected, so that's also different. Now, of these methods, and it took quite a bit of time, as I mentioned, to kind of look into a lot of these, I think Management 3.0 is certainly the most popular of these ones and one of the more widely used, and it goes well with working with Agile teams as well. So until next time, thanks for listening, and stay Agile, and of course, please do support us on Patreon, Amazon, and with the other support options down in the comments. Thanks so much.